You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Ian Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV Smash After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Smash After Show.
Sing with my heart. An RKO picture. Stars, me and you.
Such a
Bing is for doing, and we are doing another episode of Smash, Season 2, Episode 9. Welcome, everyone. The episode's called The Parents. I am Tamara Berg. I'm joined in studio by Sarah Mendoza.
Hello there.
Kendra Kabasele.
Hello.
Kristin Carole.
Hey guys.
John Comerford. And Marissa Serafini in the booth.
Hi guys.
And we have a lovely episode of Smash to talk about tonight. Let's get right into it. There was actually quite a lot going on in tonight's episode.
Yep.
Well, yeah, because the parents came to town.
The parents came to town indeed.
Yeah.
Let's first talk about the love triangle that is the bane of our existence sometimes, and you know, the thing that we talk about the most. We also hear fans talking about them the most. That is Jimmy and Karen and Derek and Karen, because we did open the show
With lace panties.
with lace panties on the floor.
The next day, the morning after, post-coital.
Oh, look at you bringing out the big words and talking sex right there.
Yeah. Well, that's what. There it is, right there on the screen. That's what we're
Lace
watching.
means something. That's some serious
She was
action.
ready for that. She was
What?
prepared.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I think so.
I think so. You don't.
She's wearing you don't wear the lace panties around unless
those
you're.
are for special occasions.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
John.
You don't?
I'm just.
Underwear check.
That hasn't been my experience.
Underwear right now.
Ooh, Tamara's got a special occasion.
It is.
You go,
There
whoa!
See?
Night's not over
is
yet.
truly-
Every day is on.
Truly, this is the late night AFTERBUZZ special.
I worked at Victoria's Secret for many years, so underpants is one of my specialties. I'm just saying.
And now we're getting to know Tamara's secret.
Tamara After Dark.
AFTERBUZZ After Dark.
AFTERBUZZ After Dark.
So,
And back to this music.
So,
And then the parent interrupts.
but Sarah, were you serious? Are you becoming Team Jimmy now? What do you think? What-
Okay, I'm not entirely Team Jimmy.
Tim Jimmy,
Tim Jimmy.
who's another character
Okay,
entirely.
but at least we're getting a little bit more backstory now,
Yeah.
so that he's an actual human being, not just an annoying caricature
Yes.
of a spoiled, stubborn brat.
Yes, and
Yeah.
that's
Now
been
we
our
know
criticism
why.
for the longest time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We're starting to know why he's a spoiled, stubborn brat.
Well, I mean, I don't know why he's stubborn. We just know he has a history of it. I don't know why he's so spoiled and stubborn.
Well, but he wasn't really acting quite so one-dimensional even in
Yeah.
this episode. You know, he is doing some things that are making him a little more endearing, and it's a little more understandable why Karen would like him. One of the points that was made by a viewer over the last couple of weeks that I do want to make sure that we talk about is, because they kind of called us out. They said, look, these kids are in their 20s. They're not going to be making awesome relationship decisions at this point. They haven't been through enough of them.
No, that's
to
a
know better
great
and worse.
argument.
Yeah.
Which I don't think, but I don't fault the actors. What I think it's just but you can't, even if they are 20, they're not one-dimensional people.
Right.
And if
right.
and I don't care, because if as a viewer it's boring to see a one-dimensional, two-dimensional character. I don't care how real it is. It's just boring.
Right. Right. Well, yeah. You know, you're preaching to the choir over
Yeah,
here.
so I mean,
And we will all sing your praises.
and I agree that 20-year-olds aren't going to make necessarily the smartest relationship decisions, but I just wanted to, like Sarah was saying, now that we have some backstory, we get some flesh him out a little bit. Okay, now he becomes interesting.
Right. We just want to care about him a little bit.
Yeah.
Right.
And like after, now we're learning what he's been dealing with, and he's sort of on edge all the time because of his secret past, where I guess he had an addiction to
And dealing and
was
de-
dealing
and
drugs,
dealing,
right?
right?
He's probably going through withdrawal, so that's what makes him so anxious and angry slightly.
And also,
but he's left the guy a year ago, if I understand it.
but
he's
also
like
having
dabbling
that
in it.
fear
Yeah, you
that
think?
that past will creep up on you again, or this guy's gonna come and beat your butt like he did that one day.
Right.
It must be a scary feeling.
For a
So
split
I would
second.
be on edge and also very protective of myself, having been hurt and just been in that kind of situation in the past.
Yeah, and like you say, kind of having to be on guard at all times. You don't know what's going to be coming your way and which facet of you have to portray to the world, and that's hard to deal with.
He had a lot on his mind.
Yeah.
That's why he was so quiet and one-dimensional.
Right. Okay.
Blank slate.
Yeah. Because you couldn't have played all that.
Yeah, and you know what? Thank you for our viewers and listeners. They've actually weighed in on our after show, and we've got a lot of Team Jimmy people
Popping up, right?
Yes. And actually, Team Jimmy's kind of winning right now on our comments.
Isn't that funny?
So Derek people, get on that.
There was like a couple Team Derek people there too, though.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that I wanted to talk about was Jimmy and his money, the money problem. So this guy comes to him and says, "You owe me $8,000." That's a big old chunk of change for an out-of-work actor or working for a nonprofit.
Yeah,
actor.
or somebody's just working for tips in a bar. Or something
Right.
like that.
Exactly. And so. Going back to his slimy day roots, starts stealing from the coat check.
Yeah. Which I thought was great because you're at a nonprofit. The people who are going to be paying for you to be in the show,
Yeah.
you're going to steal from them.
Steal from them.
Doesn't he never?
He was
You
desperate.
never. Well, I can't say that term, but you just
Well, and just
never
having-
where you work is my point.
It was
Right.
so sloppy too because he just went in there. I mean, I was thinking like you're gonna leave fingerprints. These people are rich. They're gonna find you. Anybody could
Right.
walk in at a moment, as did Derek.
Right.
Right.
It's just stupid.
Well, and lucky for him, it was Derek because in the end, it was Derek who bailed him out. Now, okay, so what do we think Derek's motivation was for that?
I think he actually is starting to like him, and I think that he thought that Jimmy took his little conversation to heart and was leaving Karen alone. And as we could see at the end there, he's going to be asking for some money back.
Yeah.
Or there's going to be problems with the show. But he said when he even gave him the money, were something like, "We're becoming friends, right? Why didn't you ask me?"
Yes.
So I think he is trying to make an effort. I think his talk with Tom hit to home for him. I think as well as Tom, as we look into that, I think both of them talking to each other learned something, which is kind of amazing. But I think he does look at Jimmy like, well, I was kind of like that. Maybe I should help this kid.
Right, and kind of mentoring
And he's not
him.
hitting
Right.
my girl that I know of. And
Right. Yeah. Until now. Do you think it's going to come? Well, of course, it's going to come back to bite him in the rear end.
Yeah.
Jimmy, I mean, with taking the money, then sleeping with Karen, and it creating problems. Because that was one of the other questions I had was early on. Jimmy says, "Let's not tell anybody.
Right.
Let's not talk about it." Do you think that was cover his butt or trying to be discreet or what?
Both.
Keeping it from Derek, yeah.
Keeping it from Derek, yeah.
And then also she threw him out when her dad came, so they're both trying in different ways to keep their relationship quiet. I thought it was
Right.
also a dig at her for earlier. I thought it was more keeping it quiet from Derek and maybe keep her quiet from his little drug friend. Because who knows if he knows that he's got somebody that he cares for that could be used against him.
That's actually what I thought. I thought because he had just seen him on the street, and maybe it was him trying to protect Karen from whatever life that is.
You're so nice.
Different opinion, John.
No. He's totally in it for himself. He didn't. Yeah. No, he just doesn't want Derek or anybody else to find out because it could mess up the show.
You're so
Yeah.
mean.
Yeah, I am. Exactly.
Jaded, black-hearted.
That's right.
Now, what about? Go ahead.
No, I was curious. I didn't notice if Derek set up a payment plan for.
Yeah.
Right, that
for
was
Jimmy
actually-
to pay him back.
Yeah, and the other question
Yeah.
about the $8,000 is do we think Jimmy's really in the clear with the dealer now?
No.
No.
Well, the dealer.
If you give a mouse a cookie.
He said they were
The
square.
dealer, yeah, but
Yeah.
he won't be because he took
He
the
gave
damn
him a
drugs.
treat.
Yeah, and I think that dealer knows exactly what he's doing
Of
because
course,
he
he gave him a
knows
freebie.
he knows Jimmy's he can
Yeah.
be addicted
First
again,
ones are
so
free.
he's gonna give him a little bit
Yeah.
of.
And he brought him the money kind of quickly, relatively quickly.
Right. So
So
you
he's
think
like,
There's
oh,
more money
there's
there.
more where
Yeah.
that came from?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, he's just trying to get him hooked again.
Jimmy's
That's
Poor
what they did.
Jimmy.
Big.
See, I'm starting to care
It's like-
about him.
and it's
Poor
like, oh,
Jimmy.
you're starting to care about him. How stupid is it to grab the drugs? Come on.
Hey, addiction is a powerful.
It is a powerful thing.
mental
but
thing.
It's, you know, I actually believed it when he said he's out of it for a year, or I'm guessing he's been out
Right.
of it for roughly a year.
Mm-hmm.
And I go, yeah, okay, you finally got, okay, that's classic, you know. I mean, it's classic.
But he
junkie
obviously
stuff.
still has other addictions, though. We know he took
Yes.
ecstasy. We
Yeah.
know he smokes pot. He's quite a drinker.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
He's
I'm not
addicted
saying
to
don't be
Karen.
social like the rest of the cast, apparently. Yeah, and then his new addiction is
To
Karen
Karen.
and the
Yeah.
show, and
Right.
he has just a very addictive personality, and it's just, it's not smart.
No.
But there'd be no show if he
Obviously.
was smart. so.
No, right,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's the point.
Smart's not
Right.
fun to watch
One-dimensional.
on
Yeah.
TV. That doesn't make good TV. Yeah, so, and then Derek, okay, so Derek finding out in the end that Karen is sleeping with Jimmy through innocent comment of
Pop.
yeah, Dad,
Papa Cartwright.
Papa Cartwright, looked kind of crestfallen. Am I right, Derek?
Yes.
Crestfallen. Nice.
Nice
Word.
use. Yeah.
You guys are on a roll there.
I know.
I had a
it's what happens
dictionary.
after 10 p.m.
First of all, I thought it was hilarious that Papa Cartwright thought it was Derek. He just
Yeah.
assumed because
That
of the
was
leather.
good, wasn't it?
Yeah, the leather jacket. And he made the comment to Derek, and Derek's like, "What? What are you talking
Out
about?
the window? What are you talking?
Boys go out the
Just
window?
crazy.
Yeah. Didn't catch the metaphor.
No. Now he gets it.
Yeah,
though.
no. Yeah.
Nice
Not even
jacket.
better.
Now he's
Yeah.
pissed.
Yeah.
I want to go to the next thing, but I'm going into prediction, so I need to stop myself.
But before we go into the next thing, though, if you guys agree or disagree with us, you should definitely go to iTunes and rate and comment us, positive or negative. We read all of them and love to hear your feedback.
We do.
You can also comment on YouTube, and that helps as well, just to get involved in the conversation, what you guys think. Again, team, I know we talked about, rating on there if you're team Jimmy or team Derek. Come on, Derek's. Get on. You can tell what I am.
Starting to be with you, Team Jimmy's.
No.
Were there
Gone to the
any
dark
any of
side.
the comments that you wanted to mention specifically? Because I know you had a couple that you looked at.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's cool that people are weighing in on who they think Karen should be with. There seems to be a lot of people who do like Jimmy for Karen, and they think that they're saying that they think it's creepy and more stalker-like that Derek likes Karen than like a real romance.
And also, I think a lot of people are they're not forgetting that Derek has the history of love him and leave him, and so even one of the comments said that Derek is the one. He is the guy who loves you.
Yes.
But I think it's a little bit of that hoping she can change him kind of thing. You know, that's
I don't
that
think
people always
either
talk
one
about.
of them is good. I don't want her to end up with either of them.
Right.
She should do her.
Should she
just
be with
get her-
Scott
No,
instead?
She should just do her career.
Yeah.
Maybe she
Plenty
should
of
be
time
with
for the
Scott
other.
instead, John.
No.
Oh,
No,
Scott.
not Scott.
I agree with John.
Jesse Martin.
No.
No.
Scott and Karen?
Marissa agrees
I
with
agree
John.
with John.
Thank you, Marissa.
She should be by herself.
That's right. She's
not
got
a
plenty
bad
of time
idea.
together. Just get her feet under
She should
herself.
just be with her lace undies.
Whoa. She can still have her fun. I'm just thinking, don't be in relationship with these guys.
Just one other comment I wanted to make, and this is partly for Marissa. Did anyone notice that Leah Michelle was mentioned?
Yes,
in last week's episode, and
I
we
did.
did.
Yeah, we
Yes,
thought.
yes. So yay.
If you say her
Yay for the
name a
Gleeks.
third time, she appears. We're
That's
good.
the motivation behind it. Okay, let's move on to the next sort of budding romances that are happening. And I would like to start with Scott and Julia.
Yeah.
So Julia.
He's obviously not that upset about what happened.
No, I know he is toying
certainly got over
with
it.
her though.
Yeah.
He is toying with her.
He's flirting. The way he looked at her is like, whoa.
Oh yeah, you
geez.
pointed that out because
he's checking her out.
He
right
did the
in front of
full
her.
on like.
Yeah, exactly. And didn't even. I mean, it's right in front of her. It's not like he did it from the side where she wasn't looking. He's
Yeah.
like, are you checking her out?
And
right
she's totally loving it.
Of course,
Oh, yeah.
Well, and I do think I think it's a really a fun way to put together a romance because she is in such a deficit position with him, with having to make up for, in her mind and both of their minds to a certain degree, ruining his career.
Yeah.
And he is just playing it for all it's worth. And you know, he started off being quite serious about blaming her. And then it's in this episode especially, it's really kind of moved
he got over it really quick.
to he's just gonna work it.
And he needs a dramaturg.
Yeah.
Who's it gonna be? Oh, she owes me.
We could have called Peter. Peter, who's gone
He's
back
in-
to
he's in
London.
now.
Kinda
No,
miss Peter.
I think it's good though that I think he also has this new show that he's very proud of and thinks is actually going to do well. And he did get his career together, and kind of seeing how hurt she was and how guilty she was, that made him feel even better. Where it's like, well, her show's not doing that great right now. Mine's doing pretty good.
Right.
You know, and he built up his career and everything, and he definitely still has a thing for her anyways. So it's two things for him.
He's winning.
Right. It can work in two ways. Kendra, do you have an opinion on this romance?
I don't see it as a romance. I don't see it. He may have a crush on her, and that's cute, but I don't see them together.
Because you don't want to, or you just don't see that the writing is going that way?
I don't see it. It may be going that way, but I just don't see it.
You don't
Okay.
see
I
the
don't
last
see
thing,
why
you don't
they-
see they actually are going to have a romance.
I don't see why they would, I guess, is more where I'm coming from.
Well, just by the way he checked her out, I'm guessing there's a reason.
Yeah,
Well, and they obviously have a history. He knows what her drink is, you know, that she drinks tea or whatever it was that
but
she
I
was
didn't
drinking.
feel
See,
it.
but
when
guys
it was
totally
happening.
use that.
Do
You know,
they?
they try like and remember that little thing so
I
they
think I have
can
to go now.
they so they can hook you. So you believe like, wow, he might actually really care about me. He remembered this little tiny thing about my
friendship.
past.
Friendship memory.
Yeah.
I don't know if that sofa shows up. I'm thinking it needs to be washed.
Oh, good
Oh,
God.
jeez.
We left
Not
that.
the
Burn the sofa.
Are you on
Hey,
team sofa? If
okay.
you're not, let us know.
But I will say though that
Hashtag.
Julia looked really attractive tonight. They did. Some,
I'm glad you
I
mentioned
noticed
that. I was
that
thinking
too.
the same thing.
she was
What,
looking
because
really
of the
hot.
glasses?
I mean, I think I gave her the up and down
when
look
she-
for tonight.
She just looked more polished than she's looked in a
Yeah.
long time. She was, you know, in past episodes sort of wearing these crazy outfits and scarves falling off of her, and she looked sort of like she would be trailing, you know, things behind her. And in this episode, her makeup looked really great, hair looked great. She just looked polished and together, and it was obviously a specific choice, but
Totally lost on me. But I'm glad that you guys picked up on
I
it.
think she's
because you
dressing
hang
up.
out with women who are constantly polished
yes,
and
yeah,
looking
yeah.
together.
It's hard to notice.
This is true.
Well, and she's probably dressing up for Scott. She's a single woman now. I mean, she's gotta dress
Well, she
herself
certainly
up a little
wanted to
bit
go
for
to the
man.
fundraiser.
Yes,
when
she
I didn't
did.
mention
That
where
was
it
funny.
was.
Out the
Absolute-
door.
Bye, Tom.
Gotta go. Gotta go. But I like the idea of this romance. I'm sorry, Kendra, but I like it. I think it could be very interesting. That's it? That's all you got?
No, it's just a little boring to me, I think. I'm not into it. I don't know.
Well,
what
but think
doesn't
about it,
feel
because-
organic.
Because what it could be,
No.
yeah, that's kind of one of our problems with the show. But think about the potential conflict that could
Yeah,
come
it's gonna be
in with Bombshell and
That's right.
and the hit list. You know, just getting really incestuous in a lot of ways over and
Yeah.
over again.
I feel like theater always was when I was in high school. Even it was
Yes.
just, you know, we even had the musical theater group with the regular theater, but they commingled occasionally, and it was just everybody dated everybody pretty much. So it was
Wow.
weird.
But do you
Right,
see
and-
it?
Interesting high school you went
And
to.
now this is also sort of a side
I
point,
know.
but Eileen's got Richard now
Yeah.
not writing an article on Bombshell, so
That's
not
bad.
not Julia's show, But now maybe he's going to write about Hit List, which is Scott's show.
Right.
I think he totally
Kendra,
Do you
is.
see
what?
the chemistry?
Sorry?
Do you see the chemistry between Julia and Scott?
I can see that they
Yes, I
absolutely
can.
like each other.
Definitely. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe
Yeah.
I'll watch it again.
Yeah.
I'll get back to
Well,
you.
there was this.
Yeah, but that,
You know,
I mean,
him
that could
giving-
be anyone. Like, you know,
Well,
Derek does it to Karen,
But
but
so
they're not
the
getting.
fact that she
But they
really
have
wanted to go to
chemistry,
the
though.
fundraiser because she knew Scott was going to be there, that you don't think that was that didn't show that she
she
was interested
wants
in?
attention. I think I said that last week, that she's you know, kind of on a low, in a low place right now, and she any attention, it's kind of like
But
Karen.
what would going there give her attention? I don't understand. I don't get.
Scott's giving her attention.
Oh, so
I
you
I
think-
acknowledge that.
All right. Okay.
But
All right.
yeah, I just don't see it.
I do.
Well, do you see it with Richard and Eileen?
Yeah.
Richard and oh yeah. I
You
do.
ship that?
For me,
No,
that came out of
exactly.
nowhere for me.
Yeah.
Because I'm so focused on, or
The other
I
guy?
was focused on, oh gosh,
Nick.
what's his name?
Nick.
in jail.
Right.
You know, and like her still visiting him and
Yes.
having feelings for him and being so angry at her ex-husband for what he did. So now why are they throwing this new guy in all of a sudden? It just felt out of nowhere.
Yeah, I
but
think it
because
is a little.
It's boring to watch.
A guy
scenes with
sit in jail.
prison. Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
Who doesn't even? We never see the scenes in the prison either. We just talk about them. But I think that Richard seems to be a better fit for her because, you know, he's obviously in a prestigious job. He's a powerful guy. You know, he's well spoken.
Sheridan.
He's Jamie Sheridan.
He's a nice guy.
Yeah,
Seems
exactly.
like genuine.
At least, yeah, at this point, that seems
Don't
to
you think
be.
it's gonna hurt because he's not writing the article, somebody else is gonna write the article,
Yeah.
and she's not gonna be able to control that article.
I
So
think
that may not be a good article.
I think he's gonna write about Hit List. I mean, you
Yeah,
saw the way
I
he was
know.
looking during
Right.
that diva performance. I think that'll hurt more than necessarily her being in control of the article. I think they'll have a good article with whoever this other person ends up being, but I think he'll end up doing Hit List and getting involved in that, and that's gonna
I
hurt.
definitely think he'll get in it, but I'm just predicting now that that's not gonna be a good article. That's gonna cause a lot of friction between Eileen and Richard.
Oh, well, that'll have to come after they start to date, or at least
Yeah.
there are panties on the floor.
Well, hello.
You know.
Eileen
Go to the
lacy
panty. See
panties.
what we get.
What do you got? But I mean, I like this romance. I think it's very appropriate for both of them,
Yeah.
and I think it could create some good drama.
Yeah.
I like it. So let's move on to the subject of the show tonight, the parents. We have the lovely and always entertaining Bernadette Peters reprising her role as Ivy's mother, Lee Conroy, being cast as Marilyn's mom. I think it's a genius move. I would absolutely have done it
Yeah.
because I think that's a great gimmick.
Yeah.
For the
it's great
show,
for Bombshell. You
right?
guys put butts in the seats right off the bat. No problem.
And you know, one of the problems I have with it is as much as Ivy's got issues with her mother, obviously, there's no disputing that her mother is a massive, huge star. And, you know, one of the things kids always talk about is, you know, can my parent help me? Or, you know, or should I have my parent help me? And the truth of the matter is this is the kind of the perfect situation where a mother's name and prestige could help the daughter who's following in her footsteps, bring her up to a level of great profession, and Ivy's fighting it.
Yeah, you're going to be Marilyn. There's no way she's going to overshadow you.
Can't do it.
Yeah, it's not
Can't do it.
But
Especially because she only has one song, doesn't she? Is it just that one, or does she maybe have two? The second one we haven't
I
seen.
think it's only one. I think it's
So
only going to be
it's
one in the
just
show.
a small guest star, and I liked what she said. Well, I didn't like how she said it because it was very mean to her mother. But just, you know, you will be in the show just at the beginning, and then you're gone. I think that's actually, you know, that's a good idea. Get her started with it, and then Ivy keeps up, and they get a new person in there. You know.
Well, I thought the other line for me was even worse, where she says, "We may need you to open the show, but after the show's open, I'm not going to need you at all."
Yeah. I'll never need you again.
Yeah, is that what it is? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's great stuff, though.
Ouch. I loved, we're going to talk about the song later, but I loved I thought it was very telling and very funny the way Tom
Yeah, trying to get them to.
Is directing them.
Yeah.
Why don't you talk about that, John, a little bit?
No,
Because
I
well, no,
Yeah,
just
that
because you have
was
experience of that with directing people and with.
Yeah, whenever you have people that already know each other outside of the work that you're doing, so sometimes you have to work through a bunch of barriers because they have histories that they either can't get beyond or whatever. So it is true. Directors try everything they can, and whatever works, works, and it doesn't matter what it is because all they care about is, can I get them there?
Well, I thought it was, you know, a little bit implausible and a little silly that in the beginning that I love my mother.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
I love my daughter, because it was so not. It was obviously not what the scene was about.
Right.
And I can't imagine either of these two professional actresses
Yeah, no.
trying to interpret it to cover their own lives
Right.
and their own problems, you know, by basically lying through the scene. I just thought that was a little over the top. But,
I
you know,
gave
they
it a
got
pass
there.
only because I figured, okay, my feeling was these characters were thinking, if I go there, even the skosh, there's no way I'm gonna pull back from it. I'm gonna, it's all gonna come out. And since I can't go, since I don't want any of it to come out, I can't go just a little bit.
Right.
That's the only thing I can think of. It's like if I start crying, I can't stop.
Right.
It'd be one
Right.
of those kinds
Yeah,
of moments.
that's a good point.
That's where I went with that.
Can we applaud Sam's little side comment where she's like, you know, aren't you excited I'm playing your mother? And he walks by and he goes, doesn't she already have that role? I just really like that.
There you go,
one.
Sam.
He didn't do much else this episode, but that was funny.
That was good.
Yeah.
That was really good.
Thoughts on Bernadette coming back, or on any of the scenes with them?
I mean, who doesn't love Bernadette
Yeah.
Peters? So it's good to see her back.
Idiots. Only idiots don't love Bernadette Peters.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just being silly.
Team idiot.
There better be no idiots out there.
Yeah.
But no, and for Ivy, the reason why she doesn't want her mom there, obviously, is that here's another straw that's broke the camel's back or whatever
Right.
in their relationship. Like, oh my God, again, this
Right.
has happened to me for the last 20 years of my life, and I have to deal with this again with my mother.
Yeah.
Trying to be the star of a show
Right.
that I'm supposed to be the star in.
Yeah, and I could see the fear coming up and the insecurities, but she's playing Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah.
You know.
Yes.
I just thought it was a great choice to do that and cast her as that, and I'm sure they were thinking of that all along.
Just think how incredible that will be to outshine your mother, who's known to be this great
Tony
Broadway
Award
diva,
winner, exactly.
and for you to outshine her on the stage would be amazing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So.
I think it was great. Then we have Karen's father, Roger Cartwright.
He was
Papa
cute.
Cartwright.
Papa
He
Cartwright.
was cute. Papa Cartwright. He was cute, wasn't
Yeah,
he?
it was cute.
He was. I even his entrance and the way he looked when he saw, you know, whoever's leather jacket that was passing the window, and I liked that he went up to Derek. No, you know, no holds barred, and just, you know, I've heard about you and
Right.
be, you know, good to my daughter, and I don't really like you or trust you though. I hope it's worth it.
Well, and also he went further to say, you know, she left her dream for you, and I think it's wrong. And I mean, he really went into it.
Yeah, because the last time we saw him was the first episode of the first season.
When she
right?
went
when
back
they were
home?
at dinner and or lunch and they were kind of discussing her career. So it's nice for him to see her trajectory and how she was singing. You know, he's her number one fan, of course.
Yeah. I thought it was really cute how he was sitting in the audience and clapping during rehearsal.
Yeah.
And, you know, on one hand, you might be really embarrassed. Oh, wait, I had this experience yesterday.
Yes, you did.
I did, as a matter of fact. But, you know, having a parent there and you're trying to do your job and everything. And I loved that Derek said, let a father be proud of his daughter, you know, and don't be embarrassed by it, because that's, why would you want to take that away from a parent, you know?
Right.
So I really liked that.
He's probably also trying to get in with the dad a little bit, help his cause out to be with Karen. Dad, do whatever here's $8,000 for you too. Just have fun.
Yeah.
Boy, yeah, he's just working the whole system trying to make it work.
I saw his apartment, or we all saw his apartment
Yes,
in
we
Manhattan.
did.
It is nice. You cannot get that kind of apartment. for-
$8,000, not a
Yeah.
big deal for him.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like $8.
He's saving money, you know.
No payment plan. No installments.
I don't think that Karen's dad would have had those reservations about Karen being in that play if he didn't see the leather jacket sneaking away.
You don't think he would?
No, I think he would have just been more focused on his daughter being happy, because it's obvious that she's happy. But because that there's this factor of a man that might be swaying her decision, I think that's making him very protective.
Well, and when he talked to Derek, it was a little bit later in the episode, so he had done some research on him. Yeah. After he figured, you're the guy who's dating my daughter, then he did the research and figured out he was a heartbreaker. So, you know, there was a little time spent there and a little, you know, stalking or investigating, perhaps, is another way of putting it.
Daddy duty.
Yeah,
Detective
exactly.
skills.
Exactly.
My dad's the same way.
Is that right?
So don't you think he went to New York because she left Bombshell and he wanted to check in on her, or what?
Well, he was there for a conference.
Right, I know, but
convenience.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm just asking, you know, if you have a daddy like that, you know, wouldn't he? This is what he would do: is check in on you. Check up with
He's right out that door. Outside.
Well, you know, it would have been, there's a conference and it's so conveniently my daughter's there and I want to see what she's up to.
Right.
And the only way to really see what she's up to
is to drop in on her.
Because I know my daughter's good at hiding things.
Right.
So I gotta just drop in.
Getting close to home.
Wow. We're getting to know all kinds of
That was exclusive.
You get to know about how Kristin's high
Smart
school.
daughters have smart fathers.
Tammy's underwear. This is great. Mercy, what are you going to review?
I plead the fifth.
She knows law. That's great.
But I thought it was cute. I thought it was nice to have him there. And, you know, and then he gets to reveal at the end. He's the one who drops the bomb on Derek.
Well, and I thought it was interesting, maybe it was just me, but when he talks to Karen right at the end after he realizes that it was Jimmy and not Derek, I think it looked to me like he was even more disappointed in her, because he said to Karen this time, because he had time to talk to her in between then, and he didn't talk to her about Derek. He just went up to Derek, but he said it to her, you know, if this is all or she said, you know, this might be a mistake or whatever, you know, that you're doing just for him, sort of a thing. And she said, if this is all a mistake, I already made it. And he goes, I guess you did. So
but he did say, if this guy makes you happy, then that's fine.
Yeah. And he invited them to dinner.
Yeah.
The both of them, so.
Yeah, that is a bit of a peace offering and an acceptance.
And a way to get to know the kid.
He's still disappointed.
Yeah, he's still really disappointed.
But he does also seem like the kind of father that, you know, nobody's ever going to be 100% good enough for his daughter.
Yeah.
Nobody will be.
But from his point of view, and I put it to the panel here, did she make the jump to hit list because of him, or because she really thinks it's a better show?
I originally kind of thought, I mean, it was a draw towards that show because I think she liked him, and I think she liked the music, and Bombshell was getting, you know, way too complicated, and her director was gone and all of that. But the fact that she said, I already made it, makes me think she pretty much went for Jimmy now. And I'm really disappointed in her for that, because I didn't think that was her only reason. I think I even said in prior episodes, I thought, you know, when she had left, I'm like, well, she's probably thinking she likes this material better, that, you know, the boy that she likes is there as well. It's like, you know, cherry on top. But and Derek, somebody she works well with, is also going to be there, so it'll go somewhere. That's what I thought originally. But the fact that she said that to her dad, that really makes me think that she just left for Jimmy, and that's really disappointing.
Kendra?
I agree with Chris.
Look at that.
Yeah. I have not much to say about it.
What about Sarah? What do you think?
I was just trying to find a comment from one of our listeners. Our listener Barry, he just thinks it's implausible as a whole that Karen would even leave Bombshell to begin with, you know, whether it be for Jimmy or Derek or whatever.
Right.
Leaving a Broadway show for something like Hit List, he's pulling the implausible flag.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I just wanted to bring that up.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think that I can really argue. I could argue both sides.
This will be fun. Watch this.
Yeah. No, because you know she was feeling like it was a bit of a sinking ship, and I think she was also feeling like she wasn't right for it. I mean, that was the ultimate reason that Karen gave for leaving Bombshell was I'm not your Marilyn. Yeah. Ivy is. So, you know, I think she was sort of, you know, getting to it before it was going to get to her.
She saw the writing on the wall and decided, that's it, I'm out anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
I wonder if she's just trying to find a good excuse, though, because if she says I'm leaving for a boy, you know, that's probably what she's going in her head. She's like, you know, she is somewhat smart, so she's probably going through like, well, let me find other reasons. Oh, Ivy's better.
Yeah, because I'm gonna.
That's a way more plausible.
Yeah, and I'm not going to admit to the world that I'm leaving for a dude.
Yeah, exactly.
That's just ridiculous.
Even before she left, she seemed so obviously invested already in the show. It's spending so many times scheduling read-throughs and helping them with their songs,
making introductions, all of that. Yeah,
that's a lot of energy.
I agree. It's a good point. See, there's me doing that. Yeah. Let's move on to the songs for this week's episode. There were first of all, I couldn't get any help on them as far as finding the official titles and things online. But I'm guessing the first one was the part of the song, the Broadway Here I Come song that Karen sang at the fundraiser,
which we've heard before, right?
Yeah. So you know, it was nothing new to us. So let's just move on to Anna doing "Reach for Me," the Divas song.
That was great.
Yeah,
I think she did a good job.
Yeah,
and with the Cirque du Soleil movement
exactly.
and everything.
Silks and that was certainly a spectacle.
Yeah. I thought it was better than her bar performance.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, yes.
But there, you can only go up from there.
She's wearing the big sleeping bags around her. That was great.
Sleeping bags.
She can fall asleep anytime. Narcolepsy, no problem.
I love the outfit.
But I hear you having a butt.
I do have a butt.
I'm with Sarah.
I just didn't think that the song matched all the gymnastics that were going
and all
on.
the wonderment of everybody on there. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Right. These are Broadway veterans.
Yeah.
We've never seen the Silks before. I mean, I thought it was really beautiful, but people going, oh my God, it's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. No, you haven't. You saw it at Cirque du Soleil last week, or at that wedding we went to the other day, or at the, Santa Monica Pier.
It just didn't match. Like, the Silks didn't match with the type of song it was. And also, there was like this one awkward position she was in for a long time singing, where it was like over her head, like the song was over her head, and she looked like a nun. Like, I was like, what's happening, Anna?
Yeah. And I can't wait.
Are you stuck? I'm sorry.
I still am going, this is the diva song?
That was what I thought too.
No. I don't know what they're doing with that. All I can think of is maybe they're bringing it out. Maybe they're bringing it out later.
But don't call it a diva song.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a perfectly fine song as it is, but if you call it a diva song, for me, that sets up a whole thing.
Yeah.
And then when you don't deliver, I kind of go, why you false advertising?
Right. Right. Do you agree with that, Kristin?
I completely agree. Yeah. I mean, I still don't see her as a diva.
Exactly.
I keep thinking back to, Jennifer Hudson would have been a way better choice. She goes up there, she sings, everybody gets, I'm getting chills, thinking about it.
Right.
Yeah.
How good of a performer she is. I did think the whole performance was very pretty. Absolutely. I like the song. It's not anything I see myself like singing in my car, but I still liked it, and it was a cool, different performance than we've seen from Smash.
Yeah, but you can't sing that in your car because of all the ropes and things.
It's hard to drive with your feet
I have a
on the
teeny
ceiling.
car. It doesn't work that well. I would need a. Whoops, something's flying at my face.
But did you guys think it was a diva song?
No, I agree with you that it wasn't. But I mean, I thought musically it was a pretty song.
It was.
She has a good voice.
Yes.
Yeah. But it wasn't
a diva voice.
But then the what is it? Whatever. Jamie Sheridan's character's and Richard.
Richard.
He's writing for the Times. You know, he's seen everything, and he's amazed by the. I'm going.
That
Are
was
you
what,
kidding me?
Yeah, that's sort of where I was going with that. Yeah. Not only was he amazed, but they were amazed at his amazement and decided they were going to rewrite the show.
I can't wait to see the next.
Well, she's all over the second act. She is. Yes, she is. Implausible. Let's move on to Bernadette Peters' song, "I'll Hang the Moon."
First of all, I thought she looked great. I loved her that when they did the transition and she's on stage with the different hair. I just thought she looked great.
Yes.
You know, of course, I loved the way she sounded too. So, I thought it was a very touching song.
Okay, here are my thoughts. It was the quintessential style of a musical theater song, which I loved. Very pensive in their emotions with each other. Thought it was incredibly sweet and incredibly sad. I thought the dancing in it was really beautiful with the sort of shadow people dancing around them. And that transition that they did from the staged version back to reality where the screen came through, I thought that was brilliant. Ooh. I thought it was genius. Maybe
brilliant.
Not genius, but I thought it was brilliant. For just a transition on television, a visual transition. Thank you. That's what I was going for, as well as bringing us from fantasy to reality, and it went well with the lyric, which I don't remember exactly what it was at that moment, but I just thought I loved so much about it. Love Bernadette Peters, and I love that they brought Ivy in to sing with her at the end.
I loved it too. I also liked the fact that I think them all dressed up, we were finally seeing Tom's vision as a director.
Yeah.
Like how Derek was doing before, and now Tom's getting the gist of it. And I
think that's pretty successful when they do that. Every time I've seen it, when they actually take the time to do that, I wish they would do that more.
Do what?
Well, we see it in rehearsal, and then we can see it in their mind, how they envision it being in the stage. I think that it does many things. One, it shows us what's in that director's mind. It also allows us to see these characters come more into life about what they would be on stage. I think that's better than just continually doing it on rehearsal form.
And they did that a lot in the early episodes of season 1, but we haven't seen it that much in season 2. And I think it has everything to do with the fact that we're building toward opening nights and Tony Awards and things like that. So they're probably saving it for later. But I loved it. I thought it was beautiful. I haven't let you guys talk at all about it.
I was just going to say, I thought it was a beautiful translation of their relationship and how they were kind of realizing, these are, the surface feelings we're going through. But what was going through my mind was how can they kind of recreate that each time that they're going to perform,
Yeah,
because
good
it's
point.
So
emotional.
And
that's
it's
what actors do.
No, I know, but they were having such a hard time the first time, and to do it, this way, I didn't see how they would recreate that the next time.
Or how they could sustain it over 8 shows a week kind of thing.
Yeah.
Once if you reach it there, then you know it's there and you can access it. As long as you can access it, you can do it every time.
Even with their kind of roller coaster of arguments.
That's what I'm saying. If you can access it,
then
you can tap into it.
Absolutely. Whether or not they can in a consistent, I don't know, but I've seen people do it.
The other thing is too is as much as it's about the emotions and the connection in a theatrical production, it's also about the music and the lighting and all of the other things that are going on, which will help portray that.
Yeah, because as an audience, we're carrying the story with us, and we're already at that emotional level. And once that music hits in the right chords and the right form, we're already there emotionally.
And if you want to hear what I thought.
I do.
Okay, this is going to come out of nowhere from all of your comments, but I literally wrote snooze fest too long.
It was. I agree with that.
Oh, wow.
But I still like the number.
I mean, because the emotion was there with what you were saying, but I feel like with Broadway, I also need everything else.
Yes.
I need the lights and the jazz and all of that. And I would have thought it, with so much tension in that relationship, it might have been, I was hoping for more of an explosive performance rather than
a quiet, soft ballad.
Pensive ballad, like what you said. It wasn't bad, but I guess I was going into it hoping for something, and I didn't get it.
You didn't see the tears?
I wholeheartedly understand what you're saying. Yeah.
I like that you wrote it
I
so
don't agree
big
with
too.
it at all, but I understand.
She wrote Snooze Fest really huge on her note page.
It's right here. Yeah.
She was checking your email at the time. That she wasn't really into it.
I was totally tweeting and Facebooking at the same time. No.
Yeah, like John said, I understand where you're coming from. It didn't hit me that way. So, c'est la vie. That's why there are different styles and different songs for different people. Anything else anybody wants to bring up from the episode that we didn't hit? Anything?
I'm sad that we don't have as much music.
Yeah, I agree.
I know. I think we're going to. This week, the show moves to Saturdays. And important programming note, we are still going to do our AfterBuzz podcast on Tuesday nights, just because of how scheduling is going here.
Already have.
John may not be joining
no, I won't
us.
be. My prediction is that Marissa will be filling in for me from now on.
Oh, excellent. So it's
I
going
will
to be.
gladly take that spot.
That's right.
I think that
Conversation will be elevated by that, I'm sure.
I'm going to actually start with predictions.
Oh,
So let's go into them.
Should we also
say that
mention it's 9
we're
o'clock?
9 o'clock, yeah.
Instead of 10.
Now,
Oh, okay, yes.
your AfterBuzz
Or 11.
TV predictions.
So
Kristin, what do you predict the time will be?
I predict our new time on Tuesdays will be 9
Excellent.
Pacific Standard Time.
Exactly. Okay, predictions. So I am predicting that with the switch to Saturday nights, the show, and we're getting into we're on the backside of the season, so I think that the show is going to be amped up in all ways. We've been kind of sort of trying to urge it along, trying to get the horse to ride a little bit faster, and I think it's going to start happening now. So I think we're going to be getting production numbers, more songs, bigger songs, maybe a diva song that will actually be a diva song. I think all of that's going to come in. But my main prediction, character-wise and story-wise, is I think that Derek giving Jimmy the money is going to, I think it's going to wreak havoc on the entire. I think there's going to be a bloodbath, a theoretical and metaphorical bloodbath with the Jimmy, Derek, and Karen storyline. Because of the money, because of the drugs, because of the emotions, I think it's going to get ugly.
Well, and not only is Jimmy going to have to owe Derek in some way, because Derek, that money is not free anymore.
No, it's not.
That drug dealer is going to come back for more. So, and then it's just going to get caught up with Karen in the mix. I think Karen's going to get in trouble hanging out with him.
With Jimmy?
Yeah. I think that she's going to land herself in some hot water if it's the drug dealer somehow finds out about her, or just the fact that he's going to have this white powder in his jacket. Maybe he gives her his jacket and then Karen gets caught with, drugs. Or it's going to be something like that.
Okay.
And then in terms of long term, I think it'll obviously end up at the Tonys and Bombshell versus, Hit List.
Hit List, yeah.
So she'll be the Lindsay Lohan of Broadway.
Oh, and I think I talked about this earlier, but I think Eileen's new, man friend is going to write about Hit List, and that's going to cause problems there.
Okay. Kendra, predictions?
I have more of a question mark. I'm curious to see what will happen with Julia's potential involvement in rewriting Hit List with Scott.
Yes.
So that'll be interesting.
Okay.
With their friendship, how it gets stronger.
And how it might affect Kyle and Jimmy. Somebody else coming in.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Jimmy's going to have a hissy fit.
Yeah.
Kyle.
Although he is getting laid now. So
new friend. We didn't see Kyle's friend.
We didn't see Kyle's new friend.
No, we did. Wasn't he the blonde guy sitting next to him earlier on?
Did it?
Yeah.
Was that him
at the
to
piano.
The left of him?
At the piano they were.
He was wearing a hat last week, so I met him.
I think he was hatless this time.
He was wearing Kyle's face.
Yeah.
Last week.
He
Sorry.
was. Sarah, predictions?
I think that Jimmy's going to hit rock bottom again with all these debts that he has to pay now with Derek and with this other guy who's still on his tail. And he will drag Karen down for a little bit with him.
Marissa, do you have one?
I predict I'm going to like this episode.
Yeah, exactly. Marissa works while we're watching, so she doesn't get a chance to watch until after we're finished at AfterBuzz. John, do you have any predictions?
I made my prediction about Marissa.
Oh, okay.
It's a safe bet.
Cheater.
That's right.
All right, ladies, tell us where we can find you in the world.
You can find me on Twitter at Sarah with an H Mendoza.
Kendra.
Kendra with a K. Kabasele.
2 Ks.
Oh, it's not with a C? Okay.
No, yeah. At Kendra Kabasele.
And you can find me, Kristin Carole 13 on Twitter.
I am at Tamara Berg on Twitter. Also, my website is tamaracentral.com. That's going to do it for us tonight. Oh, John, we find you here.
No.
We'll find you here. We'll find you
find
on House of Cards
House
as
of
well. Marissa, sorry, where do we find you?
I'm on Twitter at Serafini TV.
Well, that is going to do it for us tonight. We will see you next Tuesday. Watch Smash on Saturday, but you'll see us on Tuesday next week.
Yeah.
We will see you then.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.